panel of the day. And as an essential transition from the first topic about the mass adoption, the simplifying of user experience, I think this is also one of the steps to go wider as we want to do that. So, and we are welcoming our panelists, and I will give you the stage actually, because what we invite you to do is simplifying your experience here on the Web3 Stronger Together, bringing you as much as you have in your own background and your own experience. That's why we don't want to have any moderators for the panels for now. And that's why this is going to be your space for 45 minutes. And you could explore and find out the answer on the topic of today in a way you want, in a temp you have, in a directions you want to discover that. So I just will give a short reminder for the people who are now with us on live, just to remember to share this panelist, which is on LinkedIn, Twitter, Telegram channels, to invite people to join the conversation, because we could ask questions, we could take part in a contest, and we could chat on the venue, on the Evalent Metaverse place where we setting the auditorium as well, and the project's exhibition space. So you could enter the Web3 Stronger Together website, join the summit, do quick registration with email, and to get into the space. So I'm out. Enjoy your time. Please first do your quick intro about yourself, and then start to speak about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Kirill Mishanin. I am founder of InfoDriver Capital. We are Miami and London-based venture capital private equity company. So we are focusing on decentralized finance projects to invest, mostly private A round or growth stage project. So we more merge institutional investment capital from invest bankers from US and bridge them into DeFi projects. So I'm happy to discuss any topics related syndication of Web3 with real use cases. My personal idea that it's already happening. So we already have a huge amount of application which somehow merge Web3 technology with Web2 technology, and institutional investors are already interested in those space. So thank you for your time, and let's have a pleasure discussion.
Go ahead, Laurent.
Okay, good afternoon. Great to be here today with you guys. I'm here as representing two things. Number one, as we have a group of startups we call La Wine Tech. So this is 150 startups working in the field of innovation and wine. You can think that there's not much link between innovation and wine, but there's plenty. At least there's 150 startups working on it. And NFT Web3 has been impacting wine business pretty much the last 12 months. Lots of innovation coming in. And I'm also another hat as a winemaker here in Saint-Emilion, close to Bordeaux, where we have a small winery, and we made the first drop a year ago on 10 magnums we sold on auction. We sold the NFT that was the proof of ownership of the bottle itself. So that was 1 year ago, and we had some learnings on that one. Okay. Happy to share with you our experience. Ryan?
Awesome. Yep. So hello, everybody. My name is Ryan Lush. I work in the space in a lot of different areas, but right now I'm the Chief Growth Officer for a project called eSkills.io. We are a sports society. We're sports gaming, a real sports society project. Also involved in business development with a couple other metaverse companies, and I have a 3D modeling company. And I came from the real world where we create virtual tours and do a lot of the virtual experiences, and it was a natural evolution to where we are now with Metaverse and Web3. So I'm really excited to talk about simplifying the user experiences. The session before was awesome. The mass adoption, I think there's going to be some parallels in what we talk about today. But yeah, I'm really excited to start talking. I got a lot of things I've seen happen when you're a little bit older. Experience is the best professor. So seen a lot of mistakes from all the way in the .com days to I see a lot of parallels to what's going on now with Web3, and hopefully we avoid a lot of those pitfalls, and happy to talk about all those things.
Okay. So how are we supposed to move on? I think that we go one by one, right? And there's not the kind of
free for all,
right?
Just start chatting away.
All right. So I might start first if you don't mind.
Sure.
Wine is a very interesting industry, and even though it's pretty old compared to Web3, there's a lot of innovation coming to that field. And if you compare it to what's happened in the luxury industry, in the art industry or business, let's call it this way, where Web3 and especially NFT had a big impact, I think the next big thing is probably going to be wine. We as a group, La Wine Tech, representing these 150 startups, we wrote a book, a white paper, explaining in 10 points how Web3, NFT, blockchain, smart contracts going to impact and change the way that this business is happening today. So this white paper is free to download. You can download it on lawinetech.com. You find us on LinkedIn. You find us on social networks. And there's always a link here and there where you can download this white paper for free. So basically, in those 10 points, it's about traceability, just the control of counterfeit, royalties transmission, the way to limit, control whatever speculation. It's also reaching a new audience, wine lovers audience, pretty younger. It's also a new distribution channel. And it's also what's very important for winemakers, a direct link to communicate from the people who's going to drink the bottle to the people who made the bottle. And it's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about experience. It's all about a way for winemakers to create a new collection of wines, dedicated collection of wines. Of course, this has a major impact on CO2 and the environment as well. I can elaborate on that thing. So those are the kind of 10 reasons why we think that NFT as and blockchain Web3 is going to have a big impact on wine. So if I might not go into the all 10 points in detail, otherwise it's going to take so much time. But to summarize, I think that the first thing that really matters, it's are about traceability, the control of the counterfeit, speculation. The way to think about NFT, blockchain with wine is to think it this way. Think about an NFT that is a proof of ownership of a real bottle, right? We're not detaching. It's not virtual wine. This is actual real wine that is existing, a real bottle that is existing somewhere, stored into a warehouse, secured at the good temperature, the good humidity, good light, so preserved in the best way. So it's well conserved. And what's important there is that each bottle got an NFT, and the NFT is attached to the bottle. So there's a technology. There must have a technology that is the link between those two in order to connect them. So it could be from a simple QR code to RFID to other radio technologies that can make the link between those two. But that's a very important piece of it. So when you have that, you have the storage in place, and then the NFT as a proof of ownership. Think about a value wine, and we are not talking about wine below $20, $30 doesn't make sense economically today. But for more value wines above Both those amounts are probably above 50 euros at the moment, or dollars. It makes a lot of sense to know that those wines, where they're coming from, how they've been transported, where they've been moved, how much, what was the quality of the storage. From a wine, from the bottle, the moment the bottle is made to the moment the bottle is consumed, drinked, it could be at least 10, 15, 50 years. So it's important to know to trace what this bottle has been doing during those years. Just give you an example, but if a bottle goes into a harbor of Shanghai for a month on the docks at 45 degrees Celsius, I mean, the bottle is just ruined. It's no more wine into it. It's more like vinegar. So you don't notice it from outside, and you have to be able to. What we want to provide with NFT and traceability is to ensure that when the wine left the house to the moment it's going to your bottle, it's been in well conditioned, the best conditions for you to drink it. So, of course, the blockchain is a key element here in order to take notice of each and every move, so people can go back forward and look, what was the journey of that bottle. That is very important. So blockchain is a fantastic element for that. The NFT.
Hey, Lauren, let me ask you a quick question on that. How are you guys simplifying that? So if I'm a wine user, how does that look? How does that look to the end NFTs that knows no blockchain, that doesn't care about having a wallet, doesn't care about having an NFT? How are you guys simplifying that so I can make it real simple to be able to know where that wine came from?
So this is all pretty new at the moment, and the way it's been simplified is that number one is that you don't even talk about NFT, right?
Yeah.
Because whenever you add a 3-letter tech name to a concept for people, they just feel lost. So it's all about explaining that you're gonna buy this bottle and we're gonna give you a certificate. Okay, it's not a paper certificate; it's a digital one. So in order to buy that, you have to go to a marketplace. All right, and this is also probably new, because in the last 12 months we have seen marketplaces popping all around, and some have a very Web3 oriented marketing and user interface. Some others are more like Web2. So for people easier to understand, and you just see bottles, you see prices, you just buy. The moment to buy, I mean, of course, you have to have a wallet. So they help you to set up a wallet in few clicks, and off you go. You acquire your first NFTs. Information is in the blockchain, it's stored somewhere, and that's fine. And when you want to drink it, to receive it physically, just there have been a purchase to buy, transport, taxes, in order to reach your house. So it's a very, I would say, Web2 experience.
Yeah, Lawrence. So that's what I was kind of getting at is, if I come in and I go to you and I don't know anything about NFTs and I don't care, when you said there's a wallet, that's a frictionless, that's a stealth experience. I don't even know I'm getting a wallet. You said it was just seconds and I'm in there, yes? Yeah,
it's just register here, set up your account, right? You need to be identified with your address for shipment, with the payment method, in order to pay taxes, to buy the wine. So it's more like a normal customer registering journey. It's no big deal and no much difference than what you have in Web2. And people are not afraid about that, right? They don't even realize they are building up a wallet in order to be purchase in crypto or fiat or whatever. So I think it's about talking the language of the Web2, which is commonly known and people not afraid of it, and just removing all the barriers, all the nitty-gritty, languages we love in tech, just to remove it away. And once again, this is starting, but people understand the concept of having a certificate of ownership of something that they don't own physically because it's stored somewhere. And for wine, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I have a question, Lauren. So how are you actually fixing that it's not fake data? Because the core problem of whole supply chain and why IBM Blockchain Labs closed their department in New York, that people put data in blockchain. It means if I put a record that this wine is from France and originally is not, it will be forever in data that tracks like France, then it goes to the grocery store. So how you fix such problem? Because this is the core industry problem, that blockchain is trusted network. Everything what you put in it, it should be a must. But people doesn't put the correct data or mistake data or whatever. So what do you think about it?
No, that's a very good point, but you don't avoid of a third man, a third person in between, which is a core person for certification of the wine. So you need to make sure that the bottle you don't see yourself, you don't have in your hands, it does exist, and it's a real one. So you need someone doing that for you, and there are a few companies taking that position at the moment. Few in the US, few in Europe as well, and they bring their expertise, they bring their seal in order to confirm that is a real bottle and it's a really storage in great conditions. We have Block Bar in the US, we have Ideal Wine in France, we have Wine Chain between France and the US. I mean, some companies are getting that position today. The third entity that is certifying that this is a real bottle in a real storage condition, and information initially input into the blockchain is a real and authenticate one. You can't avoid that at the moment.
So you have kind of committee which try to fix the whole supply chain, like on government level, production level, etc. And it should be like one register because it's alcohol. It should be one register for whole countries who are in the distribution model. So, and it should be somehow fixed by government. Because I have a huge amount of scam products. For example, you do bike shares, and some guys just put a sticker, QR code. You scan it, you believe you rent, but you pay to another guy through those QR code. There are a lot of tricky ways how you could produce fake bottle if it's expensive. Why I doesn't need to sell out $1,000 bottle for 300 and put my fake QR code in it, and you scan and you give me extra money from your bank account. So this is kind of tricky story. It's good that you try to manage it. I know a lot of government programs which try to involve into tobacco, into alcohol, into drugs industry. They try to manage it. That's why once you buy a bottle, you have QR code, you have like production code. I don't know how you call it.
Barcode,
so, yes, and on top of it, you will have a certificate. So the core idea how to merge all those technology in one place. So one QR code, it should be government protected, and it should be production protected. Right now we have free solution on one product, like globally.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is very reality. This is why I personally believe that the only use cases in blockchain it's finance, because it's like manipulation of currency, whatever, traction, stablecoin, whatever. And then other part is gaming industry. It could be NFT, it could be whatever related to gaming industry. But the core problem of the gaming industry in Web3, there are not so many audience. So VCs, they invest a lot with pure money, quarter to quarter, and finally the gamers doesn't like the game or whatever. And why we need to have extra layer of NFT marketplace, whatever. So also the question for gaming producers. So why the top games doesn't integrate blockchain somehow? They already have metaverses. They have million of gamers around the globe. They have tournament, competition. They doesn't want to have secondary market of their product. They would like to have one ecosystem. And the core problem that those outside marketplaces, they withdraw the value outside of the game. So this is
they're not simplifying. They're not simplifying the user experience. That's the problem. That's what we're talking about. Is it needs to be frictionless. It needs to be stealth. If we can't have a user experience if we don't have a frictionless entry. So if you're talking about gaming, people are playing games because they want to have fun. They're not coming in because they want to get into a marketplace. They don't want to worry about a wallet. They don't want to worry about these things. So when, us as builders and people that are building these projects, it's more of a competition than it is a competition. And we're so early. Everybody needs to start sharing what they're doing. There's protocols out there right now, and we're using them. People can come in within seconds. You can have your grandparents and your grandkids hop right in, start playing games. They don't even know they have a wallet until they need it. When they accrue something or they earn something in the game, they start to learn as they go, right? We're kind of building a plane in flight. So when like you had mentioned, and I kind of differ with you on that that they don't want all this stuff. The gamers don't. They don't know that it's available. They're gonna want it. I've been playing video games since the 1970s, since Pong. And all these years I've been playing, you put a lot of time into them, you accrue a lot of things. If once you start to know that you're going to have ownership of these assets, that you're going to be able to evolve something that you're playing and enjoying doing and going on challenges and earn these things, once those are in your wallet, and when you turn that game off, if you're playing a console game, I don't have access to those things. I had fun with them at the moment, but once I turn the power off and come back in, I got to redo things. I don't have an ownership of assets. I don't have anything that I can build up, trade with somebody, put it on that marketplace. They're going to learn these things as we go, but without that entry, people aren't going to have fun. So simplifying that user experience, it is about fun when you're talking about gaming. That's where I think, we've kind of got this, I don't know if you want to call it a paradigm, but it's a problem where that everybody's been so focused in Web3 gaming on cash versus the culture. It's about the communities. It's about what is fun to those users. Let the players create that environment. Let them say what they want, because we want them to stay. We want them to play. That's the whole point. So frictionless wallets and, the culture versus cash and the change there, and developers in a co-opetition, not a competition. That's how I think we're going to simplify these user experiences. It's not about the tech. And I agree with what Lauren, you had said earlier, is we do our best to not even mention the word NFT. We don't mention blockchain. We rarely say Web3 in the projects we're in, because no one cares. If I ask you what time it is, I don't want you to tell me how to build a watch. Just tell me what time it is, right? Keep things simple for them. That's simplifying that user experience. That's a lot of the focus that we're on, is really sticking to that. What the topic of this is simplifying that user experience, and really adding to that, and really hoping and trying to encourage other projects that we deal with and partners we deal with to focus on your community, because those are the ones that are going to drive everything. Those are the ones that are going to have the fun. They're going to come up with better ideas than engineers do, right? Engineers say, hey, we built this. This is how you apply it. And end users rarely want to do it the way an engineer says it. So let the users dictate what the engineers need to build. The engineers need to not build what they think is cool. They need to build what the community wants, what the players want, because the players are going to stay if it's what they want. So those kind of things are what we're trying to simplify on that aspect. And I think that they're going to love Web3. They're going to love the ownership of everything. They're going to love earning all of this stuff. They just don't know it exists because we've had colossal failures in gaming right now. It's not a secret, right? I won't name any companies, but anybody that knows what I'm talking about knows. There's plenty of companies that came out, collapsed. They had horrible tokenomics. Things went wrong. They thought this would happen, and they got focused on the money. They got focused on knocking out more NFTs to sell. They lost focus on the user. It's always about the user. It's always about the player. It doesn't matter if it's selling wine or, you know, capital investments. But if you're going to get into Web3, it better be easy, because we got 2 billion people to get into Web3. So to fool ourselves and pretend Web2, we're just going to abandon it and we're just going to start doing it this way, that's a problem. These Web3 people are, you know, the definition of insanity, repeating the same action, expecting a different result. These Web3 gaming companies are doing the same thing over and over and over. It's not working. Quit trying to baffle them with the bullshit, if you will. No one cares. I don't care about the NFT. I don't care. I want to have fun. That's focus we're kind of going at. So I just, you know, I think that's a way to roll.
And do you have any examples of companies or products being successful in really simplifying this user experience?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I'd like to think that we're doing a good job with that, to be honest. But, you know, like I said, I don't want to sit here and bash anybody, but there, you know, there's companies, it's not hard to realize if you're involved in these things at all, you see what they've done that's wrong. They again, I think it really does come down to the simplistic as cash versus culture. They saw the dollar signs. Go look at all these NFT projects that are out there. They sold tens of thousands of these things. You know, there's companies out there, and we all know them, that made hundreds of millions of dollars selling pictures. There's no intrinsic value to a picture unless the community says there is. So the user experience has to be about the community. It has to be that way. So you look at the ones that have been successful. Are they still successful? No, the bottom fell out because people started to grow up and mature and realize, okay, this picture of an animal isn't worth $300,000. It has no intrinsic value. It does nothing for me. The most I'm going to do is print it out and put it on my wall, or go get a digital display, hang it up, and I get a picture of it. What does it do? It doesn't have a benefit. We're maturing already. It's growing so fast, this industry. But the Web3 people need to get out of their silos and start understanding that we're not going to get mass adoption staying in the Web3 world. It's not going to happen. We need 2 billion people to get to Web3. So we need to smooth that path, get rid of the friction, focus on what the users want. And I think, you know, that's how we simplify it, is just listen. We got to have bigger ears than we do mouths right now as builders. And those ears aren't just from the users, that's from each other. What did you do? How did you screw up? Don't be afraid to admit we made mistakes. Share it with each other. We're way too early to be competing. We need to be cooperating together.
Do you know, guys, when the real metaverse will show up? If every game producer try to cooperate with each other, if game producer try to cooperate with close producer, just imagine you play one game, you have your item, and you would like to sell it, and you put it on marketplace like click, I want to sell out, and X brand will produce real clothes like out there for Comic-Con. This is the real metaverse. This is cooperation. Metaverse is about metadata, and then people in all industry try to merge, try to cooperate. Just imagine real game when each item, once you stop gaming, you could sell out. Like you sell out your creature, you sell out your weapon, you sell out whatever, and in parallel you have like coins or whatever, gold. You could transfer it for movie theaters ticket, you could transfer it to some other entertainment. This is the real scenario. The more layer on top of it, if generation would like to go 3D, we will go online. But as I see, more people would like to stay in real life, so hang out with people and talk.
It won't stay that way, Carol. It won't stay that way. It'll change faster than we think. People already are doing it. And one thing is, when everybody says, well, there's a metaverse here, there's a metaverse there. No, there isn't. There's one metaverse. Everything else is a virtual experience inside of the metaverse. There's only one metaverse. There's not, everybody says, well, we have our own metaverse. Well, then go sit in your silo, go have fun. You don't want to be interoperable. You don't want to play in the same sandbox with us, then you're not going to be part of the adoption. You're not going to be part of the growth. You'll get surpassed. I mean, we've already seen major companies flail and waste billions of dollars because they're not listening. Everybody's complicating things. I mean, the whole title of this panel is simplifying. There's the operative word, simplifying. How many are doing that? How many are really focused on simplifying? I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of Web3 gaming companies, Web3 companies repeating the same actions and complicating things and creating more friction go stay in those silos. Go to user groups and go geek out with each other. Go do that, but keep that away from the users because we want them to come in. We need to get everybody understanding the benefits. It's not like we're building a product called Web3 or a product called Metaverse. We're not trying to steal customers. We're evolving. So how are you going to evolve? Make it frictionless, make it stealth, show them where all these benefits are and they'll come. But they're not going to see that if we keep putting up barriers and you got to go get a MetaMask and you got to go sign up here and you got to convert this to here, on-ramping, off-ramping from fiat to the crypto that you need, right? We got too many coins out there. Let's be real. There's just too many coins. Start simplifying things. If you're going to have a project or a company, you better have a good utility case for your coin. You better have a reason to use it every day. We need daily active users. We need the monthly active users. So, that's how I feel, we're going to really grow. And if everybody really starts to start working with each other that way and understanding that we're going to have interoperability, it's going to happen with or without you. And you're going to be out of business if you don't become interoperable. This is the last thing. I'm rambling a bit. Sorry to take it up, but just passionate about it. But, this is the first time in human history, guys, that we can take a product or a service or an idea and we can get it out there globally within minutes and create businesses and create transactions and do that very quick. But we're not going to get there without an easy onboard. Then we can simplify all those user experiences.
Yes, it's correctly true. So from a VC perspective, from an invest funds perspective, the whole money which Silicon Valley pool like 2 years ago, it doesn't succeed in any gaming, Web3, whatever, Metaverse project. We as a fund, we also searching the projects. We are ready to fuel invest bankers money, Wall Street money, whatever money, like 50 mil, 100 mil, but there is no customer focusing project in Web3 so far. There is extra decentralized exchange, there is extra layer, whatever, it's extra Metaverse, DeFi, 1,000 requests of new collection of something, but there is no people engagement value. So what you bring to the customers, why customers will stay on your project? Simple questions. For example, my question: how much revenue you generate last year? You was fundraised 2 years ago. Like you fundraised 10 million, you build per product. How much user you have right now? Who using your product daily basis? Customer acquisition cost, etc., etc. So there is too much room to improve, and I'm happy, guys, that
I think we're in an
industry, and I'm great to connect with anybody who watching us if they run and they have successful project and they just want to multiply it, not like create a new something which already exists and nobody needs those Web3 technology in their game or whatever. So let's.
I think we're starting to see it, Kirill. If you look, just came out, EA Sports and Nike are not going Web3 right now.
Yes,
but they are getting together.
I'm talking about
right? Yeah, they're not going to have blockchain games, but there's progress already being made. So you see these things that Nike's going to start putting. They're going to start having product placement in these EA Sports games, right? We're going to start seeing that happen. They're not technically onto the blockchain yet. They're not technically doing Web3, but we're getting there. We're starting to see it. I think what you're talking about, Kirill, I just think we're so infant, right, that it's going to take a little time. And us as builders, we just got to understand that we focus on the community, focus on the daily active users, focus on the monthly active users. The cash will come later. You better build a culture, because if it ain't fun, nobody's coming. And if it ain't easy, you're not getting anybody.
It's true.
Yeah, I would love really to jump in your conversation. It's I'm really grateful to highlight these few key points of the user experience, because we've got this link between the topics of the panels, and we mark already the wallets and identity. Like, to have the user experience, we need to connect to Web3, and we will get to that later. But the moment I would love to focus us now, it's about the user experience. And from the previous summit, Athena Demos, one of our speakers, she bring on the table, like, what's about to have a human experience? Are we not duplicate the Web 2 experience in Web 3? And what if we will not do the same, and we will try to do and to behave from the human perspective on that side? What will happen then? So to having this last 12 minutes of conversation, I want you to invite and to try to put, we could speak, share, manifest the things, but how it will reflect on your action from your part of the projects you develop, and how you're going to implement these issues in what you're going to do in the nearest future, how you're going to behave bringing these values, what you're mentioning here. And by the way, we are I saw in the chat on the menu, like, speaking about the wine, we get a little bit thirsty now, but it's only morning. So, but let's. I would love you to echo about through the perspective of actions, and to bringing this really valuable user experience on the board in Web3 from your side, directly from your projects you are involved now.
I could say from my side. So actually, there is no any Web3, Web2, whatever layers for customers. It doesn't exist. The only value which brings you customers in, it's their interest to the product. They go online, they doesn't know that this is Web2. They go to some store and buy the $1,000 bottle of wine that doesn't care is it connected to blockchain or whatever. From our side, as a fund, we build an application. They are all credited US investors and not credited global investors could just upload the app, choose the project which they would like to invest. The same time, the projects, they upload the pitch deck, all information verified by committee. That's it. Simple application, merging investment money with project money. Inside there are so many layers, like security layer, Web 2 layer, Web 3, front end, back end. For customers, it doesn't care. I am the project. I have super cool idea. I am on seed stage. I create some simple PowerPoint presentation. I would like to share it with cool investors. I just download the app. I upload. There are some feedback. We will even attach AI to help to go through whole data and give you some briefly report. This is the future. I personally believe that AI help us to merge those huge big data, which we already have. So, and just give us a simple answer. That's why ChatGPT is very popular, because you text something, and you have immediately answer. This is the user experience which everybody wants. I want one app where I text something and it goes directly. If you like finance, you download finance app. If you like gaming, you download gaming. This is the reality, and this is what we build right now, and how we bring value to all customers. Doesn't matter they know anything about Web3 or doesn't. If they want, they just Google it. They are deep dive. They go to second layer. They create MetaMask, whatever. But this is like for technical expertise.
Yeah, I think you're right on the AI, man. That it's going to learn people. It's going to interpret. It's going to predict who are, what they want. It's going to know them. That's going to help the user experience big time.
Yeah, just maybe adding two things here, and on what you said. I worked 11 years in Apple in business development, not in tech, and this company is all about simplifying, making things simple for people to use, removing all user manual guides, and they were one of the first companies doing that. So thinking that it should be very intuitive, and the way to make things intuitive is not easy. It's very, very, very difficult. And the first thing you need to do is to have courage, enough courage to say no to a lot of things that you're not proposing or letting the option to customers. And in order to make those cuts, you need to be brave, but you also need to be in the heads of your customers and know the way they think and navigate through a menu, through a user interface, through whatever. So deep knowledge and courage in order to do that. And I think that we probably in Web3 still today very much into a tech world where there's a lot of engineers having power and not too much about user experience, user interface simplification. So that was my personal note. On the second point, and further to Olesia question, how to harmonize, how to make things unique. We, as a group of 140 startups, I mean, we one of our tasks is to regroup the companies, to force collaboration, and in order to avoid that everybody goes with this whole Metaverse, coin something or whatever, just probably uniting forces and work in the same direction. It's not easy. It requires times and energy, but that's the only way in order to do that. So in order to do that, you need a forum. You need a place where people can feel safe, go there and they're happy to collaborate and share there where they are and see if there is a way to collaborate. And that is what Lawine Tech is made of. It's a way to collaborate and build collaborations there. So that was my two personal comments to you.
Yeah, and hope that your team understands your vision and buys into it and sells it as well as you see it, right?
Yeah. Make it simple. Remove, it should be an obsession, basically.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right.
I love it that, and the main word that I take from you, it's to have the courage to make the things simple. Because sometimes, it's something that is not acceptable for a moment, but it will be later, probably, if that would be a simpler as you think about that. So this is the courage to testify yourself. So again, we're coming back to our human experience. Whatever we do, whenever we share, whatever we bring to the space, somehow it reflects of who we are, and what we are putting in and what we are doing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That courage falls into line, right? You got to have the courage to let the people on your team run with it too. the micromanagement sometimes, man, you got to let them go. You hired the people for a reason. Let them flourish. Let them do it.
It's always a risk.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So we have the 4 minutes left, but if we are closing the topic, I will invite to jump into the next session about the wallets and identity. And this is a place where we could create the security place. And I'm totally echoing to you, Lauren, in that moment. Whenever we feel safe, we could be open up to possibilities and opportunities. And that is something that we could improve from the development side. And this is what we are doing here actually too. Lots of people, most of the players on Web3, they are working on that part first, just because it's important. It's our basic need actually to feel safe. So I'm really grateful for you guys. We are also experimenting here, leaving you in a way to interact with each other. And I think it was quite essentially awesome place, you know, to feel you're sharing your life, your perspective of a life. And this is what we love to grow in the Web3 Stronger Together space a lot. We just, not a long time ago, we just opened the community also for the people around us, not only for the partner environment. And this is the next step to go further and to bring the projects which is around Web3 Stronger Together in a space. So jump into the next session. Welcome to our Web3 ST community. It's easy to find on the Telegram and then everywhere on the social media where we are presented. Thank you for you guys, and hope to see you on the summit in September. It's really value for us that you are, whenever we get a call, you come back and you come to share what happened with you for the last moment. So thank you so much and see you around.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.